Hey, Seth, what inspired you to start building your personal brand?
That's a great question. That's a great question, to be honest. I've been creating videos since about 6 years old, to be honest. So I was been making videos, building businesses the entire time, literally from when I was 6, just like always filming videos. So I guess I don't know exactly what the thing was that made me want to start a personal brand, but I just had always been doing YouTube, always been doing Instagram, one way or another, and I saw this kind of come up, and I was like, this is like just the what I've been trying to do this whole time articulated in the way that I want it to be. I was like, perfect. Let me start. And then just saw no success for like 2 years. But yeah, that's the reason why I
Okay.
want to start because I just enjoyed it always.
Mhm, mhm. That's cool. Uh, you said that you didn't see success for like 2 years. I think I read or seen a video where you said that you made 600 videos until you started seeing traction. What kept you going through? And was there ever a point where you thought about like, this isn't worth it?
Mm. Yes, loads. There's a few things that kept me going. One was doing it for my younger self. Like I started doing it from a position of just enjoyment, a creative outlet. Like I really enjoyed it. So that always kept me going. Like regardless of success or not, I genuinely enjoyed it. Like really kind of enjoyed most of it. Obviously there was stuff that I didn't enjoy, but you keep going. The other one was I was in sixth form. So in the UK, that's like the last 2 years of school before you go to like university. Um, and I was just like it was fine, but I wasn't, like, loving it. So I was like it was like loads of schoolwork, loads of homework and that type of thing. So keeping posting these videos with my procrastination from school, it was like I used to play video games to kinda escape the world, and then, like, of the self-improvement era came out, so I was like, "I need something new." And I was like, "I'm just gonna create videos every single day, like, teach myself new skills," and that was the thing that kept me going. It's like, "If I'm not doing this, all I'm doing is schoolwork, and I won't be able I'm be so bored." So that kept me going for, like, 600 posts literally, like, 2 years.
Okay, cool. That's, I think, the best way of procrastination. It's still
Yeah.
productive in some way. So that's cool to hear. What finally clicked for you after these 600 videos? Like, when did you realize that storytelling was the missing piece?
That's a great question. Around June of 2024, I left school. Then I had 2 months of nothing but personal branded business, nothing, literally only focusing on that. Those 2 months, I built products, I launched those products, I promoted those products, and I lost followers because I was doing it in such a poor way. I was at that time, I was following, the mainstream content guru kind of advice of like, post this, use these viral trends, post this type of content, just like literally plug and play templates, which are just so replaceable with anyone. I got so fed up with it. Like, it didn't work. I was literally losing followers, which sucked. Made like no money from my personal brand, which was obviously the whole goal. Just to kind of like make it a living. Like, it was fine. Didn't need to become rich or whatever. So I wanted to make a living, just do what I enjoyed. So I was like, this sucks. I'm not enjoying it. Around that same time, one of the subjects I studied at school was media studies, and one of the things we looked at was Netflix. We looked into Netflix's storytelling. We looked at specifically like Stranger Things. Have you watched Stranger Things?
A few episodes, but I didn't commit all the way through.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. But yeah, we looked deeply into Stranger Things and Netflix and their kind of storytelling, and we had these worksheets. I remember filling out for homework, and it was just like kind of broke their narrative down into 3 parts. And one day, like towards the end of like August, I was like, perfect, school is like over now. Let me like this bed you can see like just behind me is like I had all my schoolwork under the bed. I got it all out. I was like, perfect. Let me get a fresh start, clear my mind, get everything. And I found that sheet. I found that like narrative breakdown of Stranger Things, and I was like, this is kind of fun if I filled this out for myself. Imagine if I made like a personal brand, like narrative for myself. So I literally went through like there was 3 boxes in there. It was kind of like the hero, the villain, and the guy. It's like a really basic narrative. And I filled it out for myself. And I was like, what is it kind of like, it kind of made me think about like, what are my struggles? Where am I actually trying to go? What is my story? And at the same time, it was like a combination of so pissed off with the frameworks and the content guru stuff that wasn't working. So that was one of the first stories that I told. It was like told my story from that angle, and then it just fucking worked. It's like I followed that. I made my narrative like I had a content OS at that point. I was doing everything proper. I was trying to do everything like the content gurus told me. I took my narrative, I put it into there, and I recorded 3 videos following that narrative. First one did like better than usual. Second one did even better than usual, and the third one just went fucking nuts for me. I got 20K views on that video, and that was like my highest view video ever. And I was like, oh my god, I got this many views and this much success, like just telling my story. I know you kind of brought up that I posted 600 posts, right? Before at the same time I posted 600 posts, I grew an average of 1 follower per post. So from 2 years, I'd grown to 600 followers. After posting those 3 storytelling posts, I'd I'd grown to over 1,000 followers just in like 4 days. So that was like in terms of time, I had grown like in 4 or 5 days, I'd grown the same amount that I had done in the previous 12 months. So I was just like fucking blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I did this by telling my story. Like, this is incredible. So I just kept doing it. Slowly, it started to turn over and realized I was like, oh, telling your story and storytelling is the reason why this worked. I started talking about that and just kept seeing more success because I was using principles of storytelling when talking about storytelling. Interesting
Mhm.
concept, but that's kind of when I saw it work, is just telling my story because it just separated me from everyone else. Like no one has your story, no one has my story, only you have your story. Like fuck, that was crazy. As soon as I realized that and put that forefront of my content, things have never been the same.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's a nice story. I like the fact that you followed some of the gurus as well and then noticed like this isn't what I should be doing. I need to go deeper in myself and just figure it out myself. I really believe in that as well. I think there's a part what they're saying is true, but I don't think you'll gather the same amount of success that they did because they have other goals than you. So yeah, that's cool. And what was the point that you turned telling your story and the story of storytelling into an actual business?
I love that. So I didn't even like mean to or try. I just started telling my story, and then just like as soon as that kind of like worked, some people connected with it, and that was one of the things that really surprised me and like delighted me around storytelling was that it didn't need to go viral to see such a big impact in followers, comments, direct messages, like all this type of stuff. It was like this was crazy. It made me gain so much more followers without going viral. I don't know if that makes sense. What that
Mm.
led to then was just loads of inbound. A huge amount of people reaching out, other business owners, other personal brands, creators, brands, for example, just DMs were flooded almost overnight. And just loads of people in there just asking me, how did you do this? How did you do this? And at that point, I was just responding in voice notes with like literally how to do it. It's like, obviously, it's the worst like sales tactic ever because it's like, I'm not even saying, I'm just giving you the information, like the kind of, the answers. But there was a certain proportion of people in there that just literally sent the message, which was like, how can I work with you? And I was like, fuck, perfect. And then that's kind of where it started. And it's just like, perfect. I'm like, oh shit, this is like for
Mhm.
real. And then just realized the amount of impact that that had, got some crazy results, and then just, kept scaling up and helping more people with it.
Okay, cool. And did you start off with a kind of done for you model, or it's just you teaching them how you've done it?
Yeah. So it started with literally just teaching because I needed to, I mean, that was first of all what people were asking for was just like, teach me how. Like, how do I tell my story? How do I story tell? And I was like, perfect. Then that kind of kept growing, seeing success. And then bigger brands kind of reach out to me, big brands and personal brands reach out to me, which is like, we love your style. We want your style on what we're doing. And then that was kind of a done for you kind of stuff, where I guess you could say it was like a creative director role, like head of story type of a thing. I did that maybe like 2 or 3 months, really enjoyed it, and then just took on too much stuff and really burnt myself out with it. And then just realized I can help more people tell their story by teaching them the principles and kind of like the systems to go with it. Because another thing that I was realizing when I was being this kind of done for you service was that if I was writing someone else's scripts, it's not personal. It's not a personal brand. It's like, it's actually not the definition of a personal brand. It's like,
Mhm.
I don't want to write someone's scripts for them. I want to tell them how to tell their story in the way that they want it to be told. So I was like, actually, that's a lot more powerful. So I kind of shifted when I realized that and kind of learned a bit more about it as well.
Mhm. Okay. How did your first offer look like, or how did you structure your offer in a way that you knew like this is going to work? Because I can imagine if you've done it for yourself, it's kind of all over the place. How did you first help your first customers with like a in a structured manner?
Yeah. That's a good question. The the short answer is, like, it was all over the place. But the good thing was that I knew what I was talking about, so it still worked. And then if it, like, slowly, massively kind of increased the structure of it, when I started, it was literally just like, we'll have one call every single week, and we'll do that on a month-to-month basis. That was it. It was like it was the most bare bones, like, low quality offer you'll probably ever see. It's just like it was nothing to it. But it was literally just like someone will come on with scripts, ideas, what they're trying to do, and I'll help them format it into a good story. That was it.
Mm,
Now it's hugely different. It's like there's so much more to it, processes, steps, everything like that. But back then, that was literally all it was.
mhm. Yeah, I can imagine. And how did it eventually, over time, grow into what it is today?
I just kept listening to what my clients wanted and just fulfilled on that. It's like an example recently was that I was talking to a client and he was I want to understand like your mind when you script. Like, how do you script? How do you film? Like all this different types of stuff. Because I have a really different approach to scripting. It's like I don't script at all. I don't want to script. What I'll do is write like a guideline of my story, and then just set up the camera, visualize it, and then speak as if the story is happening to myself now. He's like, because now at the moment when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking fine because I'm just allowing my mind to speak. If I was reading off a script, it would sound really robotic and really inauthentic. So I was like, fuck that script, like get rid of that. Um, so he was like, I kind of want to understand how you do this. Like, how do you think about this? How do you go through the entire process? He was like, I'd love to see like a video of you doing it live. Like the next 2 days, like I went and did that. I just filmed like an hour long video of me scripting out my videos and then film my videos as well live and just saying everything that came to mind live so that they can see it. And it's like the offer has just been built out like that because over 7 months working with loads of different people, you get asked to do loads of different stuff. And I was like, perfect. Let me just, keep adding the things that I think they're a good idea and also they're asking for into it and just kind of increasing the value of it, see more results.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, cool. What is your approach now to turning followers into leads and eventually into clients?
Mm, I like that. I think it's a balance of like understanding you know what you're talking about. So first of all, like we need to first of all like kind of understand why do we want them to convert into followers and fans? Like what can we actually offer them? Like what is the value that we're providing? Is it community? Is it entertainment? Is it information? Like one of what is that? Realizing that the answer to that is really fucking powerful. Like the answer to that has the power to change like someone's life. Like the thing we're giving them has that kind of power behind it. And then just kind of tracking it back to multiple different kind of prongs and aspects to yourself of like, how has this helped me? How has this helped other people? Like, how have I fucked up with it? How have other people fucked up with it? Kind of just like building this 3D aspect and a genuine, like actual personal feel to it. Because I think people will convert when they like know what you're talking about and understand the kind of next step to take. So we have to kind of present that. So it's a kind of combination of fitting all of these aspects together to make sure someone, is convinced that we know what we're talking about in whatever it is. Like again, if you're trying to sell like something or you're not trying to sell something, it's like they need to kind of understand that we're the right person for it and then give them the actual next step to take. But yeah, it's a kind of process of actually just
Mhm,
building connection.
mhm. Yeah, for sure. It's I do a lot of retargeting strategies with paid ads for my clients, and that always works because they already know them, they already trust them. So the only thing that we need to do is to get them to the next step, and the rest almost happens from itself. What is the next step that they need to take with you to go to the next phase of potentially working together?
Hmm. Like at what stage do you mean?
Like somebody is following you, but they want to get in contact to start a coaching session with you or something like that.
Yeah. So I guess it's for myself personally, there's multiple different kind of bridges to kind of get to that level. So when someone's like nurtured and kind of got to that level where they're like, oh, this guy's the right guy, like I like him. It's like, either it's like send a DM, like you can comment the word or you get the lead magnet and it's like perfect. Like either book a call, apply here. It's like there's loads of different kind of ways that someone can do that. And it's always simple. It's always like when you're in that first step, step two is really obvious to take.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. And very practical thinking. Somebody comments on one of your posts,
Yeah.
you send them a lead magnet. How do you convert them to a sales call? Is it just going into the conversation yourself to really see what they're thinking to qualify them, or is it more automated?
Yeah, so it's a kind of a combination of the two in a way. When say for example, I'm giving someone a lead magnet, it's kind of like I see it as beginning the story. Like I see everything is in my business as a story. It's like perfect if the hero is taking their first step in the story towards where they want to go. This lead magnet is their first step. It's like, so what does it need to do? It needs to kind of set the plan of the direction where they want to go and break their limiting beliefs around why they won't be able to make it. It's like overcome that turn back moment. Then from there, it's like perfect. The next step in the story is presented, whether that's a DM me for, a bit more of like an automated kind of response of like, add depth to this, apply to kind of work with me, comment what it is. And that can either then go into a conversation where someone will kind of, message me something and it will obviously send a direct message response, which is like, how did you find this? Did it actually help you? And then just like start a genuine conversation through that. If not, then it's just through an automated kind of like application process where see if someone's qualified. And pretty much what I'm looking for in there is just to see if someone actually gives a shit about what they're trying to do. And then I'm
Mhm.
like, perfect. Yeah, your story is going to hit. It's like, if you actually care, then I can help you. And then from there, it's just like sales call to see if they are again what I thought they were, which is like, yeah, actually trying to make a difference,
Mhm.
make impact, and obviously scale their business and their personal brand through that.
Mhm. Mhm. How do you qualify if somebody is worthwhile working with, like they have a real story that you want to help them? What are some of the criteria for you to see, I'm going to work with this person or I'm going to work with this person?
Mm. Well, so I think first of all, I think everyone has a great story to tell. Just depends how you tell it. I think what I'll look for is the intentions behind it. Is like, why do you want to tell the story? Like, are you just trying to like cash grab and make a fuck ton of money real quick? It's like, all right, cool. I'm not going to work with you. That's not what I'm interested in. It's like, I'm
Mhm.
interested in, yeah, obviously making money and making more money, but I'm focused on impact, influence, and income. It's like, cool. How can we kind of grow all three of these at the same time and look at it as a long term approach? So I'll pick that up like through kind of feel and vibe, like speak to the person a couple of times, like obviously look at the content they're already posting, what are the kind of stories they're already telling, and obviously the application process, get a little bit more of an insight about how do they think about things, how are they communicating about things, and hopefully my content will attract those people. So it's like I don't attract many people who are just trying to make quick bucks. It's like most of them are there like I have this story to tell, I understand it, but I don't know how I can attach it to this business, for example. Um, but I'll kind of pick it up through vibe. I feel like you can, like when someone's so differently
Mhm.
aligned to yourself, you can kind of understand it. So it's mainly through that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a sixth sense where you feel yourself vibing with someone or not.
Yeah.
Uh, totally get it. To get people in your funnel, you use content. Do you have some kind of strategy in place? For example, do you know what you're gonna post the day before, or how does it work?
Yeah. So recently I've actually like, how do I say, have had this framework really come into fruition. I think over my entire content journey and just deeply fascinated with storytellers and kind of different people have been able to tell stories to stand out and to change people think. I've identified these different things, and recently it's all kind of come together in terms of like the 7 stories to tell. That's what I call it. It's almost like replace your content strategy with these 7 stories, and it's crazy to me because now I go back once I've developed it and kind of listed out what they are, probably articulated everything. I can go and track back every single one of my pieces of content that work to this. Same with any other great creator, any other kind of great business leader, or anyone who has been able to grow a massive community and change people think. They all tell these 7 aspects because they all, again, show they have different parts and they come together to build like a world, an ecosystem, and a community. And that's what I use. Like, I use a content strategy. I don't do any of this type of thing. I'll just tell these 7 stories. And it's like when they're listed, it builds up a journey of nurturing someone, connecting with someone, showing like a bit of the behind the scenes, giving them a bit of value, and then kind of like sending them to the next step of whatever that next step is. So I'll use that. It's like, perfect. I have a story or something I want to say in my head, or if I don't, I'll look at that and think about my life. I'll just sit there and just think for 10 minutes of like, what is a story that I can tell for this section? And my goal is just to tell those 10 stories in balance.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, cool. How do you or do you have like a goal in mind for yourself? I want to be as consistent as possible, so I want to post, I don't know, 5 times a week. Is that something that you take into account, or is it just whenever you have inspiration and whenever you want to post, you create? Or how does that work?
So I generally do stay consistent, but I wouldn't say it's one of my main goals. Like I, I'm optimizing for fun. Like I'm a hardcore creative when it comes down to things. Like, and I understand that creativity is best utilized when you're enjoying what you're doing and you're in a state of kind of like play or like enjoyment. So if I'm forcing myself to post twice a day or every single day, it's like sometimes that will go great and sometimes that will work, but sometimes it won't. And I'm not gonna force myself to do that if it's not working. I've done that and the quality sacrifices and it's not worth it. It's like I think content strategies and your posting habits for a personal brand should mimic your life. Like if
Mhm,
you have loads of time, great, post more. If you don't. It's fine. It's personal. It's like we're all here. We
mhm,
don't have to be like 100% consistent with our personal brand every time because we have other things going on. It's like a personal brand is like it just shows what we're trying to do. It's like fine. Sometimes that's consistently every day. Sometimes it's not. It's like the same way. You'll go through periods of your life where you'll see like the same friends every day, and then you won't, and then you will, and it's like
mhm,
ooh. It's like I want it to mimic life as much as possible. That's something I'm big on. It's like even again looking at things like the algorithm. I don't really believe in the algorithm. The algorithm is just people. It's like if the more we can speak to humans and people, the better. Like and it's that starts with ourselves. It's like cool. Yeah, I'm human. I do things like differently to other people. It's fine.
mhm, mhm. How do you balance like the thought of tapping into the fun and the creativity bit, but also make sure that you're still active because your business is dependent on it? How do you manage that?
I just align. I try to. Sometimes it doesn't work, um, but I align everything together into like one thing. So my fun is my business. My fun is my content, and making those is fun. The outcome of those is fun. And it's like it all becomes one then. It's like because I see it as like even like the other day, if I'm just going out to spend time with friends, I'm not working or being, quote unquote productive. But I don't see it like that. It's like I actually think that's really enhancing my creativity because it's giving my mind a rest, for example, and then I can come back and do like better work on my business. So I'll attach everything to the same thing. It's like even me, it's like cool. I'll go to bed and get like 8.5, 9 hours of sleep. It's like perfect. That's helping me kind of grow and help me grow at this. It's like everything I do then aligns to that. It's like fitness, health. It's like yeah, time spent doing other things. Like it's all for one thing. And then I just
Mhm.
whenever it's aligned, it's like it's so much easier to stay consistent at things and manage them in a different way. Um, if that answered the question, I might have gone off topic a little bit. But
It's perfectly fine. How do you or how do you structure your days um, to whereas you have enough time for sleep, whatever, for working on yourself and still doing the business? How does a typical day look like for you?
that's a great question. Yeah, so the first thing I focus on is sleep. It's like I'll go to bed at like 10:30 and wake up at like 8:30. So I'm definitely not like a morning grinder. But I know that if I have good sleep, everything I'll do throughout the day will be high quality. And it's like it's cool. We've all heard it's like for 2 hours of focused work is more productive than 8 hours of like non-focused work. So if my mind's in the right state, my chances of doing focused work are just gonna be like way higher. Um and another thing that I like to do to enhance that as well is I don't eat for like the first 4 hours of the day. So I'll just come here. Like I haven't eaten now. It's like it's almost 1 o'clock. Like I've just woken up
Mhm,
8:30, just done loads of work and just had nothing in my way. Literally just kind of working. And then from there, it's like cool. I'll eat, do a bit more work, train, work. train, eat, sleep. It's like that's what that's what a working day looks like mainly. But yeah.
Yeah. And how do you balance doing client work and working on your own content and working on your business rather?
So again, I kind of see it as all the same thing in a way. It's like it's all aligned to one mission of helping people tell their stories and stand out by telling their stories. So if I'm learning something from my business, it's also benefiting my clients. If I'm posting videos, it's also benefiting my clients. If I'm teaching my clients, it's also benefiting myself. So everything is kind of connected, interconnected in a way or another because I'm finding out what does work, what doesn't work. How does this person respond? How does this person respond? How do I respond? And it's just like always getting data and feedback for just one mission, which is then constantly being elevated through all the inputs throughout the day.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. If there's, let's say you have to start over from the point where you have 600 followers and you're at this point today with your own business and personal brand, what would you do differently and why?
So if I started over, what like today,
Yeah.
what I did, I'd definitely tell my story from the start. Like
Mm.
I'd follow the 7 stories and just build up that world from the start. Like make sure I've defined where I'm going, why I'm going there, where I've been, and what am I trying to do? What's my mission? And just get to a point of alignment and clarity as soon as possible. Because when you kind of have that, I believe that you can scale. Like even if it's not in terms of like, oh, just scale up in terms of cash. It's like you can scale in terms of thinking. It's like, oh, that's a really good kind of position to be in. Um, so that's literally what I do. I'd understand my story first and then get good at telling it and just do that every fucking day.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. You're telling about scaling. What is your biggest dream? For example, let's say we are 10 years from now on, where do you want to be?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So I have this part of my brand, Project Finesse or storytelling, which is labeled as like one of one. Because I think that's the outcome when you tell your story. You become one of one. Like there's no one like you. I think that's really, really awesome. And I'd love to take that aspect of the brand and just take it massive. Like
Mhm.
whether it like into a kind of clothing brand so people can wear that and embody one of one all the time. I want people to be telling their stories and stand out by telling their stories. I want storytelling to become the standard because I think it kind of then it just builds up genuine, authentic connections. So I think that's
Mm.
really important. Like I know we kind of live in a world which is kind of obviously like hyper connected in terms of like social media, but it's a little bit disconnected in terms of actual connections. And I think if you do just tell your story, you can genuinely find and do what you want and are meant to do, which is like that's sick. So I want to help people do that.
Mhm.
Like when I left school, to kind of go all in on doing this business, I didn't have any friends who were doing the same thing. Like for a couple months, it was lonely. Like, I had literally no friends. So I decided one day, I was like, actually, I'm going to talk about this. I'm gonna put up a post. I'm like, I have no friends who are doing the same thing as me. And what happened was that other people who are in a similar situation reached out, commented on the post, and was like, "Yo, me too." And then from there, like those have become new friends. Like in September, I'm gonna going like traveling the world with those people, going to like Bali with these people. Last week, we had our first in real life mastermind event from these people. It was like 25 people showed up. And again, that's another thing I'd love to do is like have these events, have this kind of like impact in real life. Just keep scaling its impact in multiple kind of different creative ways, helping people tell their stories and really kind of like have it become the box standard of marketing. Just
Mm.
story as a kind of foundation. Really, really cool.
Mm. Let's dive a bit deeper into the mastermind section. What is the biggest insight that you got during the mastermind?
The biggest thing I picked up was along those similar lines. I think so. Yeah, I think you might have meant it in terms of like a kind of like gem in terms of like building a business and social media, which we can get onto. But the kind of the biggest thing I realized just about people is that everyone has their unique like passion and like zone of like interest and genius. Like, but it's just like I really fucking love this topic, and it's like I think when you speak to someone who has that, you just see their face light up in a different way. And I think
Mm,
that's like speaking to
mm,
people about that and connecting people who are, thinking similarly about different things, or bringing people together in a way where they might have different interests, but they're comfortable to share that level of deep interest in the thing. And it just leads to so much power. I think it's sick. There's so much energy in rooms like that where people just think they're so interested in what they're interested in. And it's so unique. And it's like your uniqueness at the end of the day is your competitive advantage. So I want to use that as, I just want to, yeah, have people realize that. And because I've realized that for myself, and honestly, is been embodying that for myself, which has allowed me to kind of overcome the parts of myself which I thought were weird or I shouldn't kind of use. But it's actually been the things
mm.
that allowed me to become myself and, you know, really kind of achieve what I wanted to achieve. So the mastermind has helped me realize that in such an intense way.
Yeah, that's cool. It's so difficult as well to really lean into your unique self in this day and age. If you
Mm.
go on Instagram or whatever kind of social media app, you see people who are further, who are who you want to be,
Yeah.
and it's so difficult to not get caught up in insecurities of the fact that you are not that person and you have your own unique traits. And how did you for yourself create a kind of fuck you mentality where you embrace those unique traits? Like, what made you
Mm.
click, if that makes sense?
Yeah. I love that. That's a great question. I think it is like it's a combination of, multiple points throughout, my life, my time at school as well. Just I think part of it has come from sometimes when you kind of you enter a kind of like a new friendship group, and there's like a different set of like interests, for example, and then you try and adopt those same set of interests to fit in, and then a few months down the road you're like, this doesn't feel right. It's like cool, you can think that's cool, or you can enjoy that, that's cool, but I don't. It's like, what am I doing wasting my time on this if it's not what I actually care about? And it's like, "Oh, fuck, like, I'm just wasting time." So it's like, it's not helping me get to where I wanna go. So I can see other people pretending to be different people. It's like, it's actually better if you just yourself. And I was like, I don't want to turn out like that. I have been that. Like, I have been someone I haven't been. I don't enjoy that version of myself. So that was one of the things I was like, actually, I don't wanna be like that. And then I thought, how do you become the person that sets the agenda? Like, when you enter that friendship group, like, how do you like, where do those set of interests come from? And I was like, oh, it came from one person who's being confident enough to share what they're interested in. Oh, it's like, I'm gonna start being that, and then encourage other people to do the same thing instead of just think about what I'm thinking about in that kind of a way. Um, that's kind of more of like I know, like a sweet realization, people like encouraging that type of thing. The other one was just I created videos my entire time throughout school and got fucking like bullied and roasted for it the entire time. Or you're like, what are you doing? This is cringe. And then as soon as it worked, I was like, fuck you. Like, yes, this shit was real. And I was like, I'm so glad I stuck to it. And it was
Mm,
just that energy is like, oh my God, if I hadn't stuck to it, if I had listened to what they said and stopped because it was cringe or because of, walking into a classroom, my videos being played on the screen, it was like, oh my God, all of this shit that I had to go through to get here was so worth it now. And it was just like, if that's only, it feels this sweet now because I'm doing what I'm kind of interested in. That kind of, yeah, I guess that's the kind of answer in a way.
mm, mm. I have major respect for you. Keep sticking to it and keep creating, because if I look back on my days in high school, you're trying to fit in. It's toxic as fuck. It's like the most toxic environment ever. So I don't think for myself that I would have had the willpower to really keep to it. So kudos definitely to that. Um,
I want to talk about that actually a bit more because you're right. It is fucking difficult. Like,
mm,
yeah, to be yourself in an environment that might not encourage that, and actually might, yeah, push the opposite. It's really fucking difficult. It's really fucking difficult. As you were saying, that a quote came to mind from, I think it's Virgil Abloh, who says, he's like, life's too short to spend any day subscribing to what someone else thinks you should be. I was like, "Yeah, no, that's really true." And I just yeah, I was like, if
Mhm.
even if I'm walking by myself, it's like I'd rather, kind of do that thing. And it was a series of like serious events that just led up to that. Like, oh fuck this, like I'm just gonna go with that. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And then you have the family part as well. Like if, for example, you're building a business in the US, it's very encouraged to fail and to just start over. I have the feeling like if I speak for Belgium, that's not really the case. It's like, what are you doing? Shouldn't you just go work a steady job and do that for the rest of your life? And that's hard as well to really don't give in to that. Um, that's why I don't use Instagram. I post on it. I don't watch anything because I notice for myself, like it gives me such crippling anxiety to see other people do their stuff. So that's definitely a working point for me. How do you handle that? I can imagine as a content creator, you get a lot of inspiration as well out of other people. For example, way of cinematography. Difficult word for me. How do you balance that without becoming insecure?
Mm. I recently had a realization that I was building up the expectations around my content like way too much. I was like kind of getting afraid to kind of like post because I was like, I have to tell a really good story. I have to kind of like do all this different kinds of stuff and live up to this standard which I built in my mind, which wasn't real. And the actual standard that was there was just that guy shows up every day as himself, which I realize now. But anyway, kind of going through this point of literally like I didn't enjoy posting through this time. It's like this was kind of recent as well, like a month ago. I didn't really enjoy it, and I was like, this has to change. So I just like, go to, what, the specific music playlist, sometimes when you just have to, like, you meditate or something like that, and you go through a little bit of a time of, your bit more reflection, like reading books, whatever it was. And kind of like a combination of just putting all this information in my brain and then having it processed. I woke up in the middle of the night and just wrote in my notebook. I don't remember this, but I woke up in the morning and I read it. I literally, in the middle of the night, I got up and I wrote this down. And then in the morning, I realized what I'd written and I looked at it and I just said, I'm different. And that's the point. It's like, actually, I don't need to follow or copy any trends. Like, actually, if I'm the one who's just bringing out my inspiration from whatever it is that I look at and just relaxing with it, then that's me. It's like, actually, like, people will then start copying me. I don't have to copy anyone else or have to look at anyone else. Like, I don't want people to copy me, but it's like, you just kind of like flip that round in a way of like,
Mhm.
it's fine. Um, yeah, you fail. Everyone just yeah, I don't know. I think I've gone off topic a little bit again. I forget the question, but it's both uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's a very good answer, even if it's a little bit off topic. But embracing that uniqueness of yourself is such a big part in content creation, but also in business. And I think just in life general, to be happy and not always wonder about, damn, am I doing this right? To set a perceived expectation from someone. So yeah, it's definitely valuable. What advice would you give to somebody who is just starting out, building a business, building their personal brand, and feel stuck?
Mm. Like, first of all, I guess it kind of comes down to like, why do you feel stuck? Like, usually it'll be then the kind of lack of options. Like, you don't really know where to kind of go, or kind of like I find for myself when I'm stuck, I feel like fear, but I don't realize it's fear. Um, And I'd say, like, for personally, again, when I try and get over that, it's just reminding myself of like why I'm unique and the reason I'm here. It's like in business and in personal branding, everyone, you get told to find your USP. Like, what's the thing that makes you different? And it's like, that's just like really skimmed over. Like, everyone says, like, yeah, do it, it's important, but then it's like not really touched on much. It's like, focus on that and tie that to your story, and you will stand out forever. It's like, if you don't know your next step, look at your story and just imagine different endings. It's like picture
Mhm.
different ways of how it can go. It's like, actually, yeah, if you're trying to separate your business from your personal brand, it's like, cool. find that USP, find that unique selling point, tie that to your story. How does this relate to myself? And then kind of just look at where do you want it to go? Where would you go if it couldn't fail? And then just fucking take it there. Because, you know,
Mhm,
your story will allow that. When you tell your story, it will allow that. But yeah, focus on
mhm.
telling your story. That's the most important thing.
Okay. You were telling that if you feel stuck, it's usually because you're feeling some kind of fear for something. It's very relatable for me. Um, what made you realize that it was fear that was keeping you stuck?
That's a great question. How did you think about it when you said it was relatable? How do you think about it?
It's usually long after that I felt stuck and to the point where my girlfriend asked me 100 times, Sam, what's going on? I'm sensing that something is wrong and I'm there like, no, everything is fine. And then usually it's just like her telling me like, oh, maybe it's because you have these new clients that you need to perform. So it's usually through that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably just the best answer. Is like, yeah, so you kind of realize like it gets to a stage where like maybe it's yeah, just like there's a artificial barrier in the way.
Mm.
Just like it's either fear of like perception, fear of failing, or I don't know, different types of fear. But and then I kind of remind myself, it's like, okay, I'll never take the next step if I'm scared. Um, but yeah, no, yeah, that's a great answer. I love that.
Mm. Is there something that you do to get yourself out of this stuckness feeling?
Yeah, I kind of remind myself again that like I'm human. It's okay to fail. Failure is good actually. It's good to fail. So if I'm scared of that, then that's a good thing. It's like I should
Mm.
go and progress forward because of it. Um, so what do I remind myself? It's like, yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, I am different. I am okay to fail if it's fear, if it's perception, or if it's failure, if it's fear of like, yeah, failure, like something going wrong. Like, fine, fuck it. Like, we'll only ever know if we take that step, otherwise we'll never know. And we'll fix it when we get there. Like, just for like,
Mm.
it goes wrong, then we'll fix when we get there. But we'll never know if we don't take that step.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, definitely true. Uh, my last question for you, where can people connect with you and find out more about your work?
Seth Lloyd on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's the same on YouTube as well. But if you search up Seth Lloyd, so that's with two L's. It's a Welsh surname, but Seth Lloyd in there. Videos pretty much like well, yeah, videos like consistently links in there. You know, you will see a lot more about me. Look at the stories. He's talking about what we're doing, different things going on, whether it's free stuff, pay stuff, real life events, different types of community, all this different type of stuff. There's loads of stuff going on there. That's the place to go, and that's the hub. Like there's loads of different stuff going on as well, but Instagram's the hub.
Okay, thank you very much, Seth.
No, of course. Thank you for having me on. It's been a really interesting conversation. Appreciate that.